Okay, guys, I did a little bit of thinking and digging and found a way easier way to explain the gist of today's lesson dealing with the pluses and minuses. So, when you are asked to find the square roots of 36, you can still do that the way we talked about in class, right? So, option one is you can think, what makes this equation true? Option two, if you like the dashes better, you think to yourself, okay, square root of 36, what two numbers could multiply to make 36, right? Either way, depending on which way your mind works, right, your choice, here you would get 6 is a possibility and negative 6 is a possibility, right? Both of those make this equation true. Over here, 6 times 6 is 36, and also negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. So the answer to this question is plus and minus 6. Even roots will have two real roots, right? So when we're talking about square roots, we'll have two real roots. The positive root is what we call the principal root. We never went into much detail about this in the past, which is why I've never mentioned it. It's something that we kind of usually skip over. So the positive root of this is the principal root. So the 6, the positive 6 is what we call the principal root. When you are simplifying an expression, so when we change the directions to simplify 36 to the 1/2, right? You can still in your head think about the square root of 36. However, when you give your answer, when the directions say simplify, it is assumed that we only give the positive root. The principal root, right? So only give the principal root. That is the easiest way to explain why we don't put a plus or minus here. Now, let's say I asked you to find the cube roots of 8, right? So again, in your head, you could think x to the third equals 8, or you could think cube root of 8 and think, okay, what three numbers multiply to make 8? Either way, you're thinking 2, right? Negative 2 does not work because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 would get you negative 8, and that's not what we're looking for. So the answer here is 2. So if I say simplify 8 to the 1/3, the answer is still 2, right? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. When it's an odd root, you have no issues because there's only one root anyway. Even if we change this to a negative 8, that would change your answer to a negative 2. But there would still only be one root in the first place, right? So if this was negative, this would still be negative. So we only run into this principal root issue when the root is even. Then, when you're simplifying, you only give the principal root. For even roots, remember that the radicand cannot be negative. So if we're saying simplify negative 36 to the 1/2, that's not even a question in your mind. You just say no real root. Any even roots cannot have negative radicands. I hope this kind of clears up everything we talked about today in class. And thank you for your patience as we work through a way to explain this the best way.